The White House has said that the bomb, which is called the mother of all bombs, was dropped on a network of caves and tunnels used by ISIS in eastern Afghanistan.
60 degrees down, 11 degrees up. Really advantageous because it allows us to engage targets even if the nose of the helicopter is not pointing at us.
From the mother of all bombs, capable of triggering a worldwide apocalypse, to a mega machine gun on steroids that can wipe out a fleet of tanks without breaking a sweat. These weapons you are about to see are stranger than science fiction. What weapons of mass destruction lie in the arsenal of the world's most powerful nations? Join us as we unveil the 20 most powerful military weapons in action. Number 20. Moab. What better way to start than the mother of all bombs, also known as Moab? This remarkable piece of military technology is the most powerful non-nuclear weapon in the arsenal of the United States.
This hour, a day after the United States dropped the largest ever non-nuclear bomb in human history.
Built to cause a similar level of desolation as a nuclear weapon, without causing a nuclear fallout. However, it's worth noting that the damage that would be caused by nukes exceeds the capacity of Moab by far. Officially, this weapon is designated as GAU-43B Massive Air Blast, which means it detonates just above the surface, causing an unprecedented level of damage. But that's not the only thing that makes this weapon so fascinating. You see, it's also recognized as the largest satellite-guided, air-delivered weapon ever built in history, which means it's capable of hitting any target anywhere in the world. Fitted with a GPS guidance system, this smart bomb is capable of locating its target without any hassle, and once it's launched, little can be done to stop the destruction it brings. The bomb also weighs about 21,000 pounds, carrying an 18,700-pound warhead. The history of this bomb takes us back to 2003, when the brilliant minds of the United States military put their genius together to craft this weapon of mass destruction in just 9 weeks. If things had gone according to plan, Moab would have been used in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and according to the then Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, the weapon's development was initiated to put pressure on Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein to stop fighting against the coalition. Luckily for everyone involved, the bomb was never used during the war. However, this powerful bomb has met its march from the Russian side, and it could be the most dangerous weapon we've ever seen. Number 19. Father of all bombs. After the United States unveiled and even used the mother of all bombs in combat, Russia decided to delve into the same field and see what they could come up with. What resulted from this scientific exploration was a deadly weapon of mass destruction known as the father of all bombs. Unveiled in Moscow back in 2007, Poseidon is believed to be 4 times as powerful as Moab and would cause total obliteration just like a nuclear bomb would. Not surprisingly, the West fears this weapon greatly, and considering it's in the hands of a man like Vladimir Putin, that fear seems justified. It's a good thing the FOAB has never been used in combat, though, because according to Russia, this thing is capable of vaporizing all living things. It's a kind of explosive known as a thermobaric bomb, which means its payload explodes at much higher temperatures. That's what makes it so terrifying. When Russia unveiled the weapon and tested it for the first time on September 11, 2007, the event was broadcast on national TV for all the citizens to see. The move was also meant to send a message to the Western adversaries, a deterrent to any form of escalation from its enemies. The results of that first test drove the message home, as FOAB showcased a huge potential for destruction that would threaten any world power. Its explosion capacity is the equivalent of lighting up 44 tons of TNT, with a blast radius of about 984 feet. On this very rare occasion that this thing drops, it would easily decimate anything and anything in its path and beyond. The scariest part of all of this is that US intelligence has confirmed that Russia has more than one of these FOABs in its arsenal, just the same way the United States has a bunch of Moabs. Will these huge bombs ever be deployed in actual combat, though? Hopefully not. But if they ever did, it could put Hiroshima and Nagasaki to shame. Number 18. GAU-8 Avenger. There are many anti-armor guns in the arsenal of the United States, but the GAU-8 Avenger might just be the most iconic one ever produced. In the realm of military innovations, this descendant of the 19th century Gatling gun design claimed its place as a legendary instrument of destruction. At the heart of the GAU-8's design lies a complex system, picture 7 barrels rotating around a central axis, each one guided by delicately crafted cams to execute a precise cycle of loading, firing, unloading, and reloading. As opposed to its predecessor's hand-crank mechanism, the GAU-8 employs 2 hydraulic motors, creating a rotation motion that ensures smooth firing rates and unwavering stability, making it one of the only machine guns that can turn tanks into scraps. The ammunition employed by the autocannon comes in 3 variations, each designed with a specific purpose in mind. There's the armor-piercing incendiary round, with an aluminium casing and a core of uranium, capable of taking out tanks and other armored vehicles. Then there's the high-explosive incendiary round, as well as an economically viable variant for target practice. To give you a perspective on how compact these variants are, they're roughly the size of a standard Coca-Cola bottle, and when this deadly weapon springs into action, its firepower is simply astounding. To crown it all, the GAU-8 is easily adaptable and can be mounted to an aircraft or a tank or used independently. However, those who have been privileged to wield this weapon will always remember it for one thing: its self-sustaining firing system, which ensures that there are no misfires. Even though there have been many anti-tank armor-piercing weapons developed by the United States, this one remains unforgettable due to its sheer power and incredible size. Number 17. Avangard. Back in 2018, Russian President Vladimir Putin unveiled 6 new weapons developed by his government in a show of force meant to send a message to rivals like the United States. One of these invincible weapons is the hypersonic boost glide nuclear-capable Avangard, capable of striking targets located far away from Russia. Weighing a little over 4,400 pounds, with a range of over 3,700 miles, Avangard can be easily fitted with either a conventional payload or a nuclear warhead, which makes it a very concerning threat to the adversaries of Russia. In order to prevent exposing the secrets of this doomsday device to the world, most information about the Avangard is kept under lock and key. Until today, there are no publicly available images of the real thing. In March of 2018, President Putin announced to the world that the Avangard had already entered serial production, and it has since entered active service. Hopefully, we will never witness the Avangard in all its destructive glory. But as the world continues to descend into chaos and the threats of a global conflict loom, it's hard to predict how long till civilization collapses from the impact of one of these big bombs. Number 15. MQ9 Reaper Drone. Away from big guns and big bombs, here's a weapon that's sure to send chills down your spine. While the MQ9 Reaper Drone cannot level cities, it's considered one of the most dangerous military drones in the world, and that claim isn't far-fetched at all. These beasts have been the primary offensive strike drone for the United States Air Force for quite some time.
Well, the MQ9 Reaper Drone is one of the most advanced tools in the US military's arsenal.
This is thanks to its ability to remain in the air for 42 hours before needing to refuel, as well as its incredible ability to totally disappear from enemy radar, making it very vital in clandestine missions. The Reaper drone is also a very versatile surveillance aircraft, capable of reading a license plate from 2 miles away and relaying this vital intel in a matter of seconds. With these fascinating capabilities, it's no wonder the drone is often employed to perform precise strikes, reconnaissance against high-value targets, close air support, and terminal air guidance. Thanks to the MQ9 Reaper, the United States Air Force is able to gather intel on anywhere from anywhere in the world, penetrate restricted airspace without detection, and continuously spy on its enemies. Number 14. Uran 9 Unmanned Ground Combat Vehicle. Ever since they were first introduced in September 1915, armored tanks have dominated the battlefield with their ferocity, making honorable appearances in every single war since their unveiling. Over the years, technology has evolved drastically, and a new generation of tanks have emerged, ready to unleash terror on the front lines. One of these fascinating war machines is the GAU-9, an automated tank that's not just smart, but is also controlled by artificial intelligence, making it as deadly as can be.
360 градусов, чтобы все танки так мягко ездили. И главное, абсолютно нет.
This tank of the future is specially designed to function in both combat, reconnaissance, and counter-terrorism operations. What makes the GAU-9 more effective is its remote control system, which means it can be operated by a single person, either from a truck control station or using a small backpack control station. The first time the world got to see this piece of Russian engineering was at the International Military Technical Forum in September 2016, and it finally entered active use between 2017 and 2018. Speaking of ammunition, the GAU-9 is armed with a 30mm Shipunov automatic cannon, 4 ready-to-launch anti-tank guided missiles, 6 ready-to-launch Shmel-M flamethrowers, and a Kalashnikov machine gun mounted on the left side of the main armament. With a net weight of around 10 tons, this autonomous tank is easily maneuverable, effective on the battlefield, and can easily provide protection for troops as well as take on more aggressive assignments. Number 13. Bastion P. This Russian mobile coastal defense system is also another fascinating piece of machinery, whose presence alone draws the attention of the world. The physically imposing Bastion P was built to engage surface ships, including aircraft carriers and their battle groups, convoys, and even landing crafts, decimating them before they reached the Russian territory. On a regular day, a battery of the Bastion P features 1 to 2 command and control vehicles, 1 support vehicle, 4 launcher vehicles operated by a 3-man crew. This launcher vehicle is equipped with 2 missiles, which can be readied and fired within just 10 minutes, with just 2 to 5 second intervals between 2 launchings. The missile used by the Bastion P is a supersonic anti-ship missile with a warhead weighing up to 550 pounds, known as the P-800 Onyx. These powerful missiles can reach targets located 186 miles away from the launch site, giving the Russian forces ample opportunity to deal with threats from a distance. Since its introduction, the Bastion P has been deployed several times, like in 2011 when Russia sent some of these beastly machines to the Kuril Islands in the Far East. Then in 2015, a bunch of these Bastion Ps were also deployed to Crimea. They've also participated in several armed conflicts involving Russia since then, and they remain a terror on the battlefield, striking fear in the hearts of the opposing forces. Number 12. Poseidon Nuclear Torpedo. If there is any mega weapon that has lived on in infamy for a while, it's definitely Russia's Poseidon Nuclear Torpedo, one of the terrible weapons wielded by Vladimir Putin. It was in January 2023 when the Russian news agency known as TASS reported that Russia had produced its very first set of nuclear-powered long-range torpedoes they called Poseidon. According to experts, this single weapon has the power to cause a radioactive tsunami, devastating an entire coastal city and causing the deaths of millions of people. Powered by a compact nuclear reactor, Poseidon is believed to be able to travel at unprecedented speeds of up to 100 knots. With a range of over 6,200 miles, Poseidon can also operate at depths of 621 feet. However, what makes this weapon so dangerous is its ability to avoid detection by the radars of most countries, including the United States. When outfitted with a nuclear warhead, this thing is expected to yield a force of up to 100 megatons. To give you some perspective, Russia's Tsar Bomba, which holds the record for the most powerful nuclear weapon ever tested, had a blast force of about 50 megatons, which means Poseidon can cause double that destruction. The torpedo is built to be launched from a submarine, which means it could silently creep up on an enemy without warning, triggering a natural disaster and leading to utter desolation. According to the Russian defense system, Poseidon is set to enter active service in 2027, and it could command the tides of future armed conflicts. Number 11. BGM-71 TOW Anti-Tank Missile Launcher. Meet one of America's most formidable war machines. The tube launches wire-guided heavy anti-tank artillery, capable of taking out any armored vehicle and decimating enemy forces. Currently being used by more than 40 armed forces, TOW is integrated into over 15,000 ground troops, military vehicles, and helicopter platforms. Thanks to its reliability and the unparalleled destruction it's capable of, this missile launcher has seen action in several wars, including the Vietnam War, the 1982 Lebanon War, the Iran-Iraq War, the Persian Gulf War, and the Yemeni Civil War, to name a few. Used as both a defensive and offensive weapon, the missiles can be fired from the ground, using a launch tube mounted on a tripod, but it's most commonly used in its single-tube form, mounted in military vehicles, such as the Desert Warrior, the Piranha, the U.S. Marine Corps LAV, and the Dardo Hitfist. As of right now, an airborne version of the TOW is in service in at least 13 countries, making it one of America's most versatile missile launchers. While it's most popularly employed to destroy tanks and other armored vehicles, the tool can also be fitted with a bunker buster missile, capable of penetrating deep into the earth and destroying terrorist hideouts, tunnels, and underground bases of operation. Number 10. Boeing Laser Avenger. For many years, there have been rumors of a death ray in the arsenal of the United States. Propagated by Hollywood blockbusters, the idea of a real-life ray capable of taking out targets with precision seemed like a fantasy until the emergence of the Laser Avenger. This air defense system provides short-range air defense on the go, whether it's shooting down UAVs in Ukraine or flanking down the Pentagon as the United States flexes its muscles.
The laser is located here in the turret, and then it feeds by an optical fiber up to the beam director.
What's more, the Boeing Laser Avenger is completely automated, and its defensive capabilities operate at 100%, whether during the day or at night. As a revolutionary weapon of warfare, this laser decimates incoming missiles and enemy aircraft using invisible infrared lasers, and it could alter the landscape of future wars, introducing a new level of defense system for the United States. In addition to its firepower, the Boeing Avenger is also very versatile and can either function as a standalone weapon or as part of an air and missile defense system. According to sources, there are over 1,000 of these automated futuristic defenders under the control of the United States government, and some of them have turned the tides of war in Afghanistan, Iraq, and as we stated earlier, Ukraine. However, in most cases, the Avenger is equipped with the Stinger missile, a relatively lightweight air defense system, capable of taking out aerial targets before they strike. But perhaps the most fascinating feature is the remote control system, which allows the Avenger to roll into battle and decimate enemy forces without risking the lives of American forces. Number 9. Bell's V-280. Valor. Imagine a futuristic aircraft with the features of a helicopter and an airplane brilliantly fused into one. This is the Bell V-280, a revolutionary invention that could change the face of military aviation forever. This tilt-rotor aircraft is quite unique, both in its looks and functionality, with the engine remaining in position while the rotor and drive shafts tilt. Designed to function with a crew of 4, the Valor is capable of transporting 12 combatants to and from the battlefield. When in operation, the Valor can conveniently attain a cruise speed of up to 280 knots, or 320 miles per hour, and as for the wings, they're designed using a special material known as carbon fiber reinforced polymer, or CFRP. This allows for a significant reduction in the weight of the entire aircraft, high strength, and superior flight performance compared to other military helicopters. Number 8. RGP-40. Feast your eyes on this fascinating grenade launcher built like a revolver and capable of launching heavy explosives at enemy targets with ease. The RGP-40 is a shoulder-fired 40mm spring-driven grenade launcher built to hold 6 rounds of highly explosive munitions, which can be fired almost as easily as you can fire a gun. When in use, The spring-driven cylinder automatically rotates 60 degrees, loading the next cartridge into the weapon with split-second accuracy. With a chamber cartridge length of 140 millimeters,
Odegnięcie, załadowanie, materiału, zamknięcie. Wcześniej trzeba jeszcze nakręcić, jak w zegarku.
the RGP-40 can use both combat ammunition and special longer cartridges. To prevent accidental engagement and ensure the safety of the troops, this weapon uses a double-action trigger, as well as an ambidextrous safety selector located at the top of the pistol grip. Apart from tearing apart any opposing forces, the RGP-40 can also play a huge role in maintaining civil order, and is often used by riot police to launch tear gas and disperse illegal gatherings. To ensure its proper functionality, the RGP-40 is equipped with a Picatinny rail on top of the magazine, as well as a telescopic buttstock that can be rotated vertically for better handling. Number 7. Belgorod. Remember those Poseidon torpedoes we talked about earlier? Here's a submarine capable of carrying up to 6 of these doomsday weapons. Recognized as the world's largest submarine, the K329 Belgorod is a class of specialized unmanned, nuclear-powered submarines capable of conducting intercontinental military operations, which makes it a vital threat to the adversaries of Russia. It measures a little over 600 feet in length and is about 60 feet wide. When surfaced, Belgorod boasts a displacement of 14,700 tons, but when submerged, it can reach up to 24,000 tons. This incredible piece of machinery was built by a shipbuilding company called Sevmash, and it was primarily for research missions and for search and rescue operations. But while the nuclear strike capabilities may never be called into action, Belgorod can be used as a deterrent, discouraging any attacks on Russian territories. Thanks to the nuclear reactors powering the vessel, the submarine is able to remain in operation for months, making it a viable option for long-term missions, while it also manages to maintain an impressive level of stealth in international waters. Apart from launching destructive attacks on territories, Belgorod can also target undersea infrastructure, sensor arrays, pipelines, and even internet cables. Number 6. The AH64 Apache helicopter. Since it was first introduced in 1984, the Apache helicopter has served troops diligently, earning a reputation as the world's most advanced and efficient attack helicopter. With over 1,280 of these currently in operation, with 1.3 million combat flight hours, this Apache AH64 represents the backbone of the U.S. Army's fleet, while playing a significant part in the defense of other international forces. The modernized version of this attack helicopter is even more astounding, as it employs the latest cutting-edge technology to deliver greater reach, survivability, and more destruction on its enemies. However, what makes the Apache helicopter a fan favorite is its versatility and its ability to take on multiple roles, from search and rescue missions to providing cover fire for troops to escort operations and even launching its brutal payload on enemy camps and causing massive desolation. It's rugged, tough, and can perform exceptionally well in diverse environments and situations. And with it being in production until at least 2028, we might be seeing this war machine in action in case of any global conflict. This is the GAU-8 Avenger, the only machine gun in the world that can turn tanks into scraps. Known for its brutality on the battlefield, the Avenger is a weapon straight out of a science fiction movie. Imagine a machine gun firing bullets measuring over 2 feet long. It's like a cheat code for any military force. The United States military once commended the Avenger, speaking of how they won battles that would last over 20 minutes within less than 5 minutes, thanks to the deadly firepower of this mega machine gun. But apart from the GAU-8 Avenger, which of these mega weapons stirred your imagination? Share with us in the comments section down below. Now let's get back to the video. Number 5. Changdu J20. The Chinese call it the Mighty Dragon, but officially it's known as the Changdu J20. a fascinating piece of military aviation that's revered for its stealth, blinding speed, and durability. This twin-jet, all-weather fifth-generation fighter jet was developed by the Changdu Aerospace Corporation and is currently part of the arsenal of the People's Liberation Army Air Force. The J20 is designed with a long and blended fuselage with a chiseled nose section and a frameless canopy. In its main weapon bay, you will find air-to-air missiles, as well as precision-guided munitions, and in addition to the main weapon bay, there are also two smaller lateral weapon bays located behind the air inlets, which house short-range air-to-air missiles. However, as capable as the J20 is, there are reports that it lacks an internal autocannon, which means it wasn't built for short-range dogfights with other aircraft, but majorly for long standoff battles of missiles and heavy explosives. Its stealth capabilities also make it an excellent reconnaissance aircraft, capable of flying in and out of enemy territory without arousing suspicion. While it'll function effectively on the battlefield, the J20 is built more for strategic warfare, spy missions, and launching sneaky, unexpected attacks. Number 4. GPMG. The General Purpose Machine Gun, or GPMG, has served the British military well, war after war, and is still in active service today. Since it was first unveiled during the Second World War to replace the Vickers heavy machine gun and the Bren light machine gun, it has grown in infamy as the deadliest machine gun in the world. Over 8 countries still rely on the GPMG as part of their trussed defensive and offensive weapons, making it a top contender for the most popular machine gun ever made. But why is it so popular, though? That's all thanks to the simple design. Being a belt-fed, gas-operated gun, the Gimpy gun can withstand the most extreme conditions, whether in the hellish deserts of Afghanistan or in the bitter cold of the Arctic. It's also the most common machine gun mounted on vehicles, helicopters, military boats, or on the watchtowers of military bases and strategic locations. However, the only downside of this weapon are the barrels, which can sometimes get so hot that they melt. To ensure the weapon doesn't break down during lengthy battles, it comes with 2 spare barrels that can be easily switched without breaking a sweat. It also functions with a 2-person crew, one firing the weapon and making adjustments, and the other loading the ammunition belt and changing the barrel whenever necessary. Number 3. M777 Howitzer. The first time the M777 Howitzer was used was during the war in Afghanistan, and since then, it has grown to become a must-have weapon for many military forces around the world. The Howitzer, a towed 155mm artillery piece, is currently being used by the ground forces of countries like Australia, Canada, Colombia, India, Saudi Arabia, Ukraine, and of course, the United States. With a net weight of 9,300 pounds, the M777 is much lighter than the over 15,000-pound M198 howitzer it's replacing. And it's all because of the extensive use of titanium. This huge weaponry is operated by a crew of 5, which is also a significant cut-down considering that other versions required 9. The M777 is also packed with technological innovations, aiding its navigation, pointing, and self-location. This way, it can be set up and deployed in no time. Number 2. CRAM. This is the Counter-Rocket Artillery Moral System, also known as the CRAM, developed during Operation Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom in order to provide protection from American ground forces and operating from rockets, artillery, and mortars. CRAM is not just a single equipment, but a variety of systems capable of sensing danger before it happens, relaying warnings to the appropriate authorities, intercepting incoming threats, and generally protecting deployed forces on the battlefield. One of the most outstanding features of this weapon system is the M6101 20mm Gatling gun, capable of acquiring target and firing an astounding 4,500 rounds per minute. During the military operations of the United States in Iraq and Afghanistan, the CRAM proved effective, with its sensing and warning system detecting 2,000 rocket and mortars and eliminating them before they reached the U.S. forces. It has since also been acquired by Australian and UK armed forces. Number 1. B83 Nuclear Bomb. This 1.5-ton beast is the largest nuclear bomb owned by the United States, and the level of destruction it's capable of will send chills down your spine. The B83 is one of the two dumb or unguided nuclear bombs that emerged from the post-Cold War United States, where every powerful nation on Earth stockpiled its nuclear arsenal out of fear of a nuclear war. These days, it's mostly kept for emergencies, but if it's ever deployed, it could trigger the end of the world as we know it. Its nuclear tile is 1.2 megatons, which is significantly more powerful than the two bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and will cause more desolation if it's ever deployed. Thankfully, though, there may never be a scenario where the United States will need to deploy, but as the threat of nuclear war grows by the day and peace hangs by a thread, it's hard to predict what the future holds for our society. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.